Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, we're driving a very rare and very beautiful Mercedes-Benz 250 SL from 1967. And this is especially rare because it has a 5-speed manual transmission, one of 9 delivered to the United States in that time period. Pretty outrageous, and it absolutely suits the car. So the 250 SL, we have a 2.5 liter fuel injected inline 6-cylinder that is smooth as butter with gorgeous low end torque to pull you through. And what really gets me about this W113 chassis is that it's incredibly delicate yet insanely robust. It feels like you could drive this off a cliff and it would stay in one piece, yet all the touch points, all the controls, the way everything closes, it's just built to such a high standard. But let's just talk about how gorgeous this thing is. It's incredible in silver, of course, and that allows you to see all the lines and creases. Even on the headlights on these sides, there's these little creases here, and I know that's kind of a big deal for the Mercedes collectors of the world. There's chrome in the right places, there's paint in the right places, but like I said, delicate. Look at this mirror. It has this incredible swoopy design. That's stuff that we only see on something like a Wyra these days. And as we walk down the car, you start to see these bulbous haunches and these incredible wheel arch flares. Things just get better as you go. And then a large boot to boot, and plenty of room for all your stuff, a spare tire, and our things, which is great. Everything closes and opens beautifully, and I especially love this extended tailpipe that comes out over here. But watch this with the doors. Almost no effort required to get that open and closed properly with a good thunk. And there's no rattling or anything. This is a 2-owner car and it has been taken care of. Another thing about this that makes it fairly rare, or at least desirable, is the fact that it has air conditioning. This is an AC car, which is not that common, especially for 1967 convertible. We've got the Koolmeister, which I assume that's probably our indication. And I'm just going to say it, this kind of looks like a pentagram, but that's okay. That's like a little bit of a scary symbol, but I dig it. I like it. Now let me show you under the hood, and I love the way this hood opens. We've got our hood latch right over here on the side. Pop this guy up. Look at that. Door closes on its own. What a lovely thing. And there is our 2.5 liter inline 6-cylinder, and it fits so nicely in here. It looks kind of beefy, but it just gives you an idea that the car actually isn't that large. And while the hood is supporting itself, it has this great little cloth belt to make sure it doesn't fly forward. If you'll notice all of the little spot welds, these are the little things that make this car so special. These are the things that allow you to see, like, hey, this was taken care of. This is original. This is the real deal. It's an absolute joy to drive, and I can't wait to take you out. And I actually think I killed a monarch butterfly in there. So I'm sorry, little butterfly. I can see you reflected in the chrome. Let's start it up. When we open this door, we're greeted with a really lovely cabin. We're going to keep it nice and clean. But one of my favorite things about this car is that every detail is accounted for. So obviously we've got this gorgeous dashboard with nice knobs and switches and all these things. But even the seatbelts, I have never seen a retractable seatbelt like this before. That is completely unique to me. It's a satisfying click, and it's a cool color. We've got this sort of camo green going on, which is interesting because we have a blue interior. I'm surprised that doesn't match. We're in neutral. We've got our key. How satisfying is that? It jumps to life immediately. Get our handbrake down. We'll pop on our earmuffs. That is for wind. We just want to make sure that you aren't getting all the wind noise. Pretty much drive it with just 2 fingers. I mean, there's such light steering, but it's not vague. I mean, sure, you're maybe not feeling everything that's happening with the front wheels, but it is just a joy to cruise around in. This is kind of something I need in my collection. Now, it's got about 150 horsepower, but that goes a long way. This isn't a very large car. It's not heavy. So it does feel really potent, especially just because it's got beautiful torque. All comes in so quickly. You can lean into it, and it really takes off. And it's got brakes to boot, so you're not too, fearful of using that power. For 1967, that's a very good thing, and that shows where this would have cost a bit of money. And while it may be small, it has big horn energy. Wow, it's just ready for a parade. The shifter, it's just so dainty, but it's very strong and robust. Like, it looks like you're gonna rip it right off, but when you're actually operating it, you know that it's just gonna stay with you. So while sure, it'll cruise really nicely, you can open it up. It's got juice on tap. It's just so cool. I was unaware of like how charmed I would be by this car. I love it. I don't want to stop driving it. I just want to go and explore new roads. And that's something that doesn't happen to me all that often. I mean, I'm always finding something outrageous, and I'm really lucky to have the job that I have, but a lot of cars I enjoy, they're great, but like this is one that I would love to have in the collection. I like how sort of floaty it is, but it's also precise. There's a fine line to engineer something to feel like that, where it's both ultra luxurious and a precision tool for driving. I don't even find this in like the 80s 560 SLs. Those feel like they went a little too far on the luxury side in some respects. There's something a little bit missing, and it's like, now that I know that this is the root, this is where that came from, this is what they were trying to continue to recreate. So you see, sometimes you get into vintage cars, especially like an Italian vintage car with a manual transmission, and it can take a little bit of adaptation to be like, ooh, that's in a weird place, and that's fine. You adjust to it as a driver. But then there's cars that feel like they were developed just to be intuitive, just to feel correct, not to have to adapt to at all. And this kind of has that vibe. This definitely feels like it was designed just with the driver in mind. And what's beautiful about an SL like this is that it's usable in the real world. You've got plenty of sidewall, you've got some cushy suspension, you're not gonna blow out some outrageously expensive wheel and tire. You can go over a set of railroad tracks, and the thing is just screwed together so tightly that you're not so concerned that the thing's just gonna rattle apart on you. Really not much play in the steering, like at all. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to even call it play or dead space. It's just the nature of it. Like, I never feel like I'm not in full control of where I'm pointing the car, which is really nice in a luxury car, a luxury touring roadster from the 1960s. far as driving pleasure goes, comparatively with other experiences, this is like if you bred a Porsche 356 Speedster with a Bentley. Like, it's really hard to explain. Like, I'm having as much fun in as much luxury. I just really genuinely enjoy driving this car. The engine note is just so smooth and subtle. It's not that sort of mechanical rasp that you get out of an Aston Martin inline six, but it has a whole character on its own. It's a little too early for the proper summer and spring drives, and I know this car is going to sell long before it's 85 degrees and ready for a perfect car show. But I know that I'm going to be thinking about this car during those days. I know I'm going to be wishing that I was driving this during those days. It's the perfect size, it's the perfect package, and it just feels so well put together. This is high quality stuff. Thank you so much to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts for tossing the keys to this incredibly rare, incredibly special SL from 1967. This is a real treat to be able to experience this manual gearbox. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And the Patreon supporters, of course, for your financial support every month. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. Want to be the envy of the golf course, you show up in this thing.